People often walk by areas rich with historical artifacts and archaeological finds. These items, often buried or submerged, remain hidden and challenging to discover and even tougher to excavate, restore, and preserve. Yet the insights into history that we gain from them are invaluable. Pollentia, a Roman island town. A new dig has found what might be the oldest example of a snack bar. Dated to 10 BC to 30 AD, it's the earliest of the outdoor restaurants like this, where food was served over a counter, similar to a fast food place. While one was also discovered in Pompeii, the one in Pollentia is the oldest discovered. It indicated that foods previously considered exclusive to the elite might have been served in the town too. Ready-to-eat meals included wine, soup, and meats. In the garbage pit, they found 165 bones from song thrushes. Mostly found were skills, breastbones, distal limbs, and many of the wings and leg bones were missing. It's believed the birds were prepared and then pan-fried, and may have been served on skewers for the outdoor restaurants. This find contradicts the idea that these foods were rare. More remains have been found elsewhere, suggesting they were also available in local markets and easily eaten by any community member. Considered a meeting spot or social hub where locals would bump into each other or plan to meet, have food, exchange gossip or share stories, and take part in everyday activities. Choga-Zanbil is not really a recent discovery, but an ongoing one. Despite extensive investigations, there's much about the ancient ziggurat structure that is still unknown. The ziggurat is the iconic architectural style of the ancient Mesopotamian civilization, but a few examples of this unique shape have been discovered beyond the historical bounds of Mesopotamia. Choga-Zanbil, near Susa in Iran, is the most famous one. We know that this place was once known as Der Antas, and it's believed it might have been considered a sacred city by the Elamite kingdom. However, against that idea, much of the site seems unfinished, perhaps even abandoned shortly after it was founded 3,250 years ago. The order to construct the building and the city nearby was directly given by King Utash-Naparisha. However, the large amount of leftover bricks around the ziggurat implies that the building might have halted when he died. Still, the inside has secret paths and hidden stairs, suggesting more happened here than you'd usually expect from this kind of place. Will we ever find out its secrets? Possibly. The study still going on from 2021 will solve it. Construction efforts have again resulted in the discovery of an extraordinary artifact in the Scottish Highlands. While preparing for a new golf course, a chariot wheel was found within a ceremonial circle. Initially, crews dismissed it as a newer wheel lost by a local farmer, but further digging proved that assumption wrong. It is a wheel made from forged iron, requiring advanced skills from the blacksmith. The blacksmith forged several iron strips together on an anvil and then shaped it around the wheel. With additional evidence, this method allows us to date the object and suggests it's a two-wheeled chariot, although the other wheel is missing. Estimated to belong to the Iron Age, further precise dating is pending, but the pit associated with it is thought to be from around 200 before Common Era. And inside they discovered a 3,500-year-old cremation urn, grinding stones, stone tools, and the remains of several wooden buildings from the Neolithic period. Only 4 other chariot pieces have been found in Scotland and none previously in the Highlands. This confirms that chariots were used in the area, albeit rarely. The circle and the space where it was discovered provide more insights into ceremonial practices, farming techniques, and other aspects of community life. Added to the cremated human remains, pottery, and animal bones that were found along with the chariot wheel, it suggested that this was a ritual burial ceremony for a wealthy, high-ranking member of society. Some people love ending a tough day with wine. Ancient Chinese felt this too 2,000 years ago. In November 2018, archaeologists discovered a large 2,000-year-old bronze pot inside a Western Han Dynasty tomb in the Henan province of the country. The pot was still sealed, and when the archaeologists opened it up, they were overcome by a powerful but very familiar smell, the distinct smell of alcohol. Even though it's now yellowish, resembling stale water, scientists think this odorous liquid is rice wine. It was likely used in social events and was important for ceremonies and sacrificial rituals of that era. Since this container full of it was found in a tomb, it might have been used in burial rites. Scientists disagree on whether the rice is still safe to drink, but it's likely a pointless debate since no one would dare to try. In Turkey, a tomb was discovered at the Gordian excavation site, located 60 miles from Ankara, the capital. Dating techniques indicate it is from the 8th century BC in the city that was then the capital. King Midas ruled here from 740 to 700 BC, connecting him to the burial chamber dated to 750 BC. Evidence inside the tomb indicates it belonged to his family, but not directly to him. It contained items showing great wealth, such as iron tools, bronze artifacts, a cremation burial, and other things. It was the biggest display of wealth in the 67 burial mounds after the burial of King Midas's father. It was named the Midas Mound because of the enormous wealth found inside. The 2 bronze cauldrons discovered inside also indicated a funeral feast, possibly for the living or to guide the deceased to the afterlife. No food remains were found, suggesting they might have been prepared for the event but never actually used. Because the excavation site is so large, it has taken several years, and artifacts have been collected from this site for more than 75 years, and excavations are still ongoing. Back in Turkey, another excavation site has been found to contain the grave of a gladiator, but the tomb that held his body was empty. The tomb was built in the 200s AD, and it was later used for burying 12 bodies, so the gladiator's body was moved. The sarcophagus has an inscription identifying the original gladiator as Euphrates. 3 crosses were added to the outside centuries later. Additional crosses were carved inside the lid, possibly in the 7th or 8th century. This excavation site is in the current town of Selçuk, located in western Turkey. They also discovered remains of the rest of the community, such as water channels, sewage systems, multiple graves, a sewage system, a church that was expanded to form a basilica and later transformed into a dome church. This is the first tomb found like this, making it unique as archaeologists try to figure out who else was in the sarcophagus and when they were added or changed with the previous people. In October 2021, a grave dating back to the 7th century was discovered during preparations for new construction in Tussenhausen, Bavaria. In a stone room, the grave was for a young boy considered part of the elite, nicknamed the Ice Prince after using a new method to flash freeze the grave for easier relocation. Evidence indicated the building had another purpose, but when he passed away, it was converted into his tomb, and his was the only body discovered inside. To safely extract the find, liquid nitrogen was applied to freeze the tomb's contents, enabling the entire site to be moved with the boy still preserved inside. The limestone seal of the tomb helped keep fragments of a silk robe and a leather scabbard intact, with only minimal sediment or external soil breaching the grave. His date of death was determined to be between 670 and 680 Anno Domini when he was only 18 months old. He was born in the area and lived his whole life there, with what he was buried with showing his family's great wealth, like the fur he was laid on, the silk clothes, a gold cross, a bronze basin, a comb, a wooden bowl, a drinking cup with silver fittings, and food. Paintings have often been discovered behind walls in churches and schools, but recently one was found right in Venice on the Grand Canal above a tobacco shop. It was covered many years ago and was discovered by chance when renovations started on a building. The building is opposite the Rialto Bridge and near the water bus stop, where many people can see it now that the restoration is almost done. 3 figures are depicted, each allegorical, 2 of them female and 1 male. However, the rest of the features are still being uncovered. So far, it hasn't been determined who painted it or when, but research is ongoing. It is common knowledge that animals, reptiles, and insects from prehistoric times were larger, but a newly discovered prehistoric marsupial is bigger than any found before. It was discovered in Big Bend National Park in Texas and is offering new insights and perspectives on the Paleocene ecosystem. These discoveries back the idea of a landscape with diverse prehistoric life, abundant plant life, a tropical environment, and home to various animals of all sizes, including this one, which existed about 60 million years ago. Studying the creatures and their habits has provided insights into mammals from that era, after dinosaurs but prior to today's marsupials, and how they engaged with their surroundings. North Macedonia is home to an ancient city, long forgotten, whose ruins indicate that the area was inhabited much earlier than previously believed. It is believed that the site was an outpost from the 3rd century before the Common Era, but further investigation has shown that it is part of the Bronze Age, which spanned from 3300 to 1200 before the Common Era. Light detection and ranging technology was used to determine the date and the extent of the settlement, and it helped in finding many artifacts. Stone axes, pottery fragments, pieces of games, textile tools, and even part of a clay theater ticket suggest an advanced and sophisticated society that existed well before anticipated. Additionally, a coin was discovered dated between the years 325 and 323 BCE, representing the period of Alexander the Great. This older population was more advanced than expected, with systems that helped the community grow. Jewelry is often a way a community's presence lingers after it's gone, offering insights into technological progress and metalworking skills. An 8th century brooch was discovered during highway construction in Limerick. Cast in bronze and 4.7 inches long, it will be shown at the National Museum with more than 100 other objects. It also features blue glass and has animal and abstract decorations that make it unique. Once the brooch is dated, we will learn more about the development of metalworking in the area, its origins, and the speed at which technology and techniques advanced. Like many other metrics, understanding the progress of skills such as metalwork and the materials used is crucial to comprehending how a community functioned. Nineveh, the old capital of the Assyrian Empire near Mosul, Iraq, has revealed many relics and secrets in excavations. These digs have uncovered a throne room in King Ashurbanipal's North Palace, complete with all its decorations. A big relief was discovered on a large stone that measures around 18 feet by 10 feet and weighs nearly 12 tons. The carvings include several narratives that illustrate the most important tales of the time, providing insight into their everyday life, beliefs, customs, and other aspects. One of the images on the slab is King Ashurbanipal, the last ruler of the empire. 2 other images are important deities, while other figures are of lesser importance. This is a rare find because it is not only one of the largest, but it also does not depict the major deities. This is the only one ever found, adding mystery about who made it, when, and why. In another incredible archaeological find, a London Northeastern Railway car from the early 1900s or late 1800s has been found in Belgium. It is still painted red. It has the logo and the name of the company boldly on the side. It is resting, not on train tracks, and was buried for so long that it started to disintegrate and break down. Discovered while digging near a fortress and getting ready for a highway project, nobody knows how it got buried so far from its origin or why it was placed there, although signs show it served as storage. This railcar was specifically for transporting household goods and personal items during relocations or for carrying luggage not made of cedar. It is made of wood and about 100 years old. It is considered one of the first models for the removal fleet, which operated for a few years around 1930. Unfortunately, it is so damaged that it is falling apart during the excavation. However, they are still looking for information on its arrival and the reason it is there. A common theme among all these civilizations of the ancient world is that kings and leaders always got the best tombs. One could say that they still do today. Ancient tombs for kings vary in style from region to region, but there's something special about Ljungagården in Kivik, a village in the south of Sweden. It is the best preserved Bronze Age tomb in the country and challenges our perceptions of Bronze Age Scandinavians. Aside from the elaborate design of the burial chamber, Ljungagården is covered in artwork that seems to depict humans involved in a complex religious activity. The technological expertise shown in building the tomb and the advanced artistry were once believed to be beyond what Bronze Age Europeans could understand. It's probable that it originally had splendid grave items to match the intricate decorations, but unfortunately, these were taken long before the tomb was found. It seems that the person buried here might have been a leader of a kingdom with extensive travels, as suggested by the vivid images of chariots and ships on the walls. You might look at the creatively named Spiky Bridge in Swansea, Australia for a long time without figuring out its purpose. The quirky design has puzzled archaeologists for many years, but recently they believe they've come up with an explanation, which is somewhat embarrassing for them. It's a simpler explanation than many might have thought, and one they probably should have considered long ago. The big stone spikes on the bridge walls are likely just there to stop cattle from falling off the sides. The bridge was constructed in 1843 by inmates at the nearby Rocky Hills Probation Station to connect small but previously isolated farming communities. However, it seems it wasn't used much, and its purpose was soon forgotten. One theory is that the spikes are meant to look uniform, but the convicts put them at odd angles to annoy their bosses. This bad design made the bridge unsuitable for its purpose, turning it into a curious oddity right after it was completed. Pasayamas, an archaeological site in central Java, Indonesia, where a 500,000-year-old elephant fossil was recently discovered. This is the first discovery of an ancient animal fossil in the area. Special teams excavated it to keep it intact. It will be used for research and educational displays. The dimensions of the fossil indicate it is from prehistoric times, and it is neither similar to modern-day elephants in size nor in many characteristics, yet it is undoubtedly an elephant species. Amber is famous for preserving fossils nearly perfectly, and recently it has done the same with a fungus. It's believed to be 99 million years old. Inside, the fly has a fungus visible through the amber. Another specimen was found of a young ant infected with the same or similar fungus. These are the oldest known cases of a fungus taking over a host and eventually killing it. Even when you look at the tens of thousands of other amber samples found in the past, these two pieces stand out as rare and unique with the insights they will offer. In the past, scientists have identified ancient fungi similar to this as Ophiocordyceps, often called the zombie fungus because it infects and controls its host. Finding this fungus in amber from that era shows the progress that insects and fungi had made by the Cretaceous period. 24 bodies were found in a tomb from before the Inca period at the El Caraca dig site in southern Peru. It is located in the Ataco River Valley, and it was determined that the bodies were likely from the same conflict, possibly on both sides. Found as a pit with round stone walls, the bodies and grave items revealed it was a tomb. Pottery, bone-carved items, stone figures, and fabrics were all found with the dead, who were men, women, and children, all with serious injuries. The careful burial and the grave goods suggest they might have been lost in a battle and were part of the victorious community, resulting in a heroic burial. However, no additional details have been discovered so far. Several stone-lined tombs have been discovered, each containing its own burial items. Three-dimensional scans are being utilized to decide which areas to excavate next, or to investigate further while gathering information without causing exposure damage. After the excavation is finished, DNA analysis will be performed to check if any of the deceased individuals are related. New traditions and arts are being discovered about Rome through a Roman ring featuring the image of Titus Carvilius Gemellus. His mother wore it daily after his death at just 18. The ring was crafted from gold and quartz in the 1st century. The ring was found with the Roman matron in her grave, the Flavio-Trajanic grave, in the year 2000. Her family grave was inside the Grotta Ferrata necropolis, which is located near Rome in a chamber that contained 2 sarcophagi, Carviallo Gemello and Abuccia Cuore. She was so well preserved that the archaeologists were surprised at her condition. They were able to determine her name and age. She was named Mummy of Rome. She was covered with flowers and garlands, was determined to be between 40 and 45 years old when she died, was wearing a wig that was intact and woven with gold, and wore her ring. An exhibit in Turin has added an amazing discovery to its latest showcase with the Last Supper on a tapestry. The tapestry was ordered in 1514 by Louise of Savoy and future King Francis I of France. Leonardo da Vinci made the original painting, and the tapestry was made while he was alive. It's said he might have seen it when he moved to Château de Luz in Amboise. He became the first painter, engineer, and architect to the king, enjoying a comfortable life doing what he loved. The tapestry is 30 feet long and 16 feet high, made of top materials like silk, gold, and silver threads. Although the rest is the same, the setting is in a bright courtyard with beautiful tapestries on each side, a bridge with 3 arches, and marbles with a landscape in the background, instead of the original's darker and simpler background. It was given to Pope Clement VIII in the year 1533 when his son married King Francis. Although Roman artifacts are commonly discovered, certain ones are extremely rare and always surprising when unearthed. The glass vase discovered in a necropolis in Autumn, France is a perfect example. Excavation of the necropolis has led to 230 burial sites, each containing unique items such as amber pins, a gold ring with garnet, a sandstone coffin, a bronze belt buckle, and blue glass beads. The reticulated glass vase is the most important of the discoveries because it is rare. It has been dated to the 4th century and is one of only 10 similar vases that have been discovered, with none of the others being from this region. It's almost 5 inches tall, has a diameter of 6 inches, and is nicely decorated with the words "Live Happily," carved patterns, and other adornments. It's also the first complete one found, so it could be cleaned and restored without needing reconstruction or a replica. Romania is the home of the newest collection of Dacian silver jewelry discovered in Briza. The design and style suggest they were made in the 1st century before Christ and indicate there was a Dacian settlement in the area where none was previously thought to exist. The collection consists of 6 pieces in total, each featuring intricate engraved or knotted designs. A bracelet, 3 brooches, a chain necklace with pendants, a belt made of plates both oval and round, and a rectangular plate with sun decorations. Even though it shows there was a settlement there that wasn't known before, it's also raised questions regarding its original purpose. Was it for an offering to a god, an emergency stash, or something else? In a district in Cumbria, UK, a Tudor lodge was renovated and fixed, revealing paintings from when the home was first built in the 1660s. It retained many original features, especially those that had been obscured. The first ones were discovered on the 2nd floor in the 1970s, and they include foliage and a dog. Other paintings were found on the ground floor, including the most recent one. This painting features flora with hidden animals, such as a rabbit, and grotesque head profiles. They used a dry technique to paint, applying color on dry plaster with something to help it stick, so it can be fixed easily and helps with restoring it. The way it's painted and the black and white shades show it's from the 1500s, and that's pretty uncommon for Cumbria. The statue of Constantine located in Rome's Capitoline Museum recently got its finger back. Historical records indicate it was lost in the 19th century and later discovered in France during a significant acquisition by the Louvre. Once identified, a fiberglass replica was created and sent to Italy to serve as a replacement. The part of the finger is 15 inches long and consists of the top two phalanges of the index finger of his left hand. It was discovered in the Louvre in the year 2018. After the replica was tested and confirmed, they got ready to send the real finger for reattachment. The 40-foot-tall bronze statue, completed in the 4th century, now rests with the rest of the hand on display. However, the head is thought to be older, maybe from the 1st century, and was recarved to represent different emperors until it was finished with Constantine. The head, which was also missing for a long time, reappeared in the 12th century along with the hand and part of a forearm, and they were all displayed in a courtyard of the Lateran. The golden crown thought to have been worn on his head is still missing. Metalworking has been studied for a long time, and a recent discovery showed its presence in medieval Scotland. On the Scottish island of Islay, an ancient metalworking workshop was discovered. It is dated to sometime between the 6th and 9th century Anno Domini. This iron smelting hut was found to have been built over a residential home which had, at that point, been abandoned. At the site, several artifacts were found that suggested the use of the building, including metal waste, a piece of a rotary quern, bone needles, shale fragments, and other pieces of waste from metalworking. Other people were also discovered in nearby structures and ruins of what used to be a small town. Testing showed the shale was most likely from Scotland and discovered locally. The building itself measured 22 feet by 21 feet and covered an area of 390 square feet. One circular section was a bit larger than the other, with room to add more circular extensions if necessary. However, it needed repairs and was converted from residential use to industrial purposes. Also on the island are a chapel, cemetery, and other residential buildings, but no additional inhabitants have been found or dug up yet. The Sahara is among the hottest and most inhospitable deserts in the world. If anyone found themselves there without water or shelter, they'd be almost certainly doomed, making it hard to picture it as a lush green area teeming with plants, water, people, and life. Yet, we know it was once like that. A recent study of rock formations in the northern regions of the Sahara has revealed the presence of engravings on the rocks created by people who lived here more than 5,000 years ago. Aside from painting or carving human figures in geometric shapes, they also engraved giraffes, crocodiles, and other animals. It would be highly unusual for ancient people to draw things they could not see, so we can only assume that these animals were native to the region back then. One painting even shows people swimming in a lake. The current scientific theory is that the Sahara has turned green several times over the Earth's long history before going back to being a desert. It might work on a 5,000-year cycle. Some experts believe that the early human migration from North Africa might have only been possible because of the greening of the Sahara. None of us will be here long enough to know if the theory is right. While we're talking about mysterious stone structures, let's discuss the elephant slabs in Flora Vista. They might be much smaller than the anvil of Chogba, but they are just as intriguing. The official story about these artifacts says they were discovered by a boy of 10 years old who was exploring Native American ruins in Florida Vista, New Mexico, in the year 1910. What happened next is a mystery, but they showed up in the archives of the Arizona State Museum in 1950. The slabs are named after the fact that besides having inscriptions, both tablets have carvings of elephants on them. The inscriptions can't be translated and might not even be an attempt at writing. The elephants are more of an issue than the inscriptions. The slabs are definitely old, but everything we know about history says there were no elephants in North America until the 18th century, when they began to be brought in from other places. Controversial archaeologist Dr. David Imhotep recently claimed that African inscriptions show Africans visited the Americas long before Europeans, even bringing elephants. However, there is little evidence to support this outlandish claim. Gyeongju was the ancient capital of the Silla Kingdom in South Korea, and its discovery led to the area being named an official historic site. And it's commonly referred to as the Museum Without Walls. Many relics are found in the site, including ceremonial crowns, gold teas, jade carvings, and the first gilded crown with wings made from jewel beetle wings. Across the Silla tombs, these items have often been discovered. The ones in the ceremonial crown were arranged to form an inverted heart, and their color has changed from bright green to dull brown with the passage of time. Of the 15 wings that were found, 7 remained embedded in the crown, while the rest had fallen out and were found around the grave. Because of their shine, beetle wings became a common decoration for clothes and accessories throughout ancient Korea. However, this was the first time they were discovered in a crown. Still on the head of the wearer, it's a fancy crown with vertical tree branch replicas. Pieces shaped like antlers, hearts turned upside down, jade and gold pendants hanging from the side, and a complete set of jewelry was found on the body too. It's believed that the jewelry was made specifically for the burial, and that it was not worn before by the 12 to 15-year-old girl who was wearing it. A group of hieroglyphic texts discovered in southern Jordan are altering the understanding of connections between the Nile and the Levant. These are over 3,000 years old, and they are thought to be just the start of a better understanding of Egyptian actions during that era. Each inscription has the image of Pharaoh Rameses III, who ruled from 1186 to 1155 before Christ. Within Jordan, these are the first use of his likeness, and it shows that Egypt's influence was extensive even at that time. They are carved in sandstone in Wadi Rum, which is famous for its rock carvings and ancient settlements, and is a protected area open to visitors. The images are thought to indicate that there was a journey or diplomatic visit to the northwestern corridor of the Arabian Peninsula. On the Greek island of Ithaca, it's believed that archaeologists have found the home where Odysseus took his rest. Considered the sanctuary for the legendary king, it stands proudly in the landscape close to the foothills of Xochi. Surrounded by rocky outcrops, it has 2 terraces connected by stone staircases, and is known as the School of Homer to those familiar with it. Recent discoveries have shifted the belief that the area was inhabited during the late Neolithic period, and may have been active during the Mycenaean period of the 14th to 13th centuries before Common Era. Pottery shards, flint tools, fragments of vessels, underground water storage, and more indicate it was part of a wide network of sites used throughout Ithaca. From here, regional management, port operations, and resource management took place.